Students, nice meeting you once again, and it's a pleasure coming your way with another interesting lesson here on this particular channel, JSL Tutorials. On this channel, I've told you and all the time that we make you understand social studies the simple way and also love the subject and perform in this particular subject. After getting all these, I expect you also to become a responsible citizen in your society. So you realize that all the topics that we've been discussing is actually to shape you and make you someone responsible, and then someone who can create solutions, not problems, in a society, so that our society, your locality, your community, wherever you live, can be a peaceful place and will progress positively. Okay. In our previous or last lesson, and I'm sure you've watched that video, if you've not done that, you can go through the list and then look for that particular video. We started with irresponsible adolescent behaviors, and it's the part 2 of adolescent reproductive health. So here we are again. We are looking at another key subtopic under this part 2 of the adolescent reproductive health, where we talk about chastity. Okay? You realize that during this particular stage, the transitional stage, or the stage between the childhood and adulthood, a lot of hormones in our system begin to develop. And biologically, we are supposed to feel certain natural or have certain natural feelings that will, especially towards the opposite sex, and that will actually make us or prompt us to show that we are matured enough, or we are growing into maturity. Now, if care is not taken, some of us or some of you out there who are still within this period might not be able to handle these edges or feelings. That is why chastity is one of the items on the table that we have to discuss. So we have to look at this aspect too and know that it is crucial. When you live your life properly, you can become a responsible adult in future. So we will go into the meaning of chastity, and you will get it over there. Now, so on my screen, we have the explanation. So if this question is put to you in exams, explain chastity. So how do you approach it? So we have definition and then we have explanation. The definition, you can write the simplest meaning of, which is the standard one, acceptable generally, of the particular keyword you are being asked to define. Okay? Then if they ask you to explain, then it means that you have to break the definition down further by putting it in other words or probably adding examples, and that is what will fetch you the full marks for that particular question. Now, so let's look at it. Here I've combined the definition and then the explanation. So you see, I have chastity. Always when you what is chastity, explain chastity, define chastity. Don't start with a pronoun. I've told you about that in one of my videos where I taught you how to answer social studies questions. Okay, so you begin with the keyword you've been asked to explain or define. So chastity is the total abstinence from sex, and I'll tell you why I underline this, from sex and all other sexually related activities until marriage. Okay, so you put full stop there. This alone can form the definition for you where the full stop is. You can have your definition. Now, why did I underline this? This is the key word in this particular definition that you must not leave out. Okay, so the spelling is also key. So when I'm marking your paper and this particular keyword is spelled wrongly, then I'm going to give you 0. That sounds harsh, or looks harsh, but that is how we have to go, because it takes a lot of people, or gives them a hard time to define words or write or spell words like this. So people normally write abstain, the word abstain, ABSTAIN, and then add the ENCE. It is not right. So in abstinence, so abstain, to abstain is a verb. That one you can have the AIN ending it. But with abstinence, it has to change. So you have the ABS, all right, then you bring your T, then it will now have changed to I, the next alphabet or letter, NENCE. So take note of this word. Then don't forget to bring the total abstinence. That means that you are not just going to avoid sexual intercourse, okay, where you have the male and female, the opposite sex, penetrating each other through their sexual organs or reproductive organs. We've spoken a bit about that some time ago when we look at adolescent reproductive health, talking about the physical changes that take place in the adolescent boy and the girl. So now let's look at, so we have other sexually related activities, and that is why you have to add to get a full explanation. So some of these sexually related activities include kissing. Kissing. You've been watching a lot of telenovela now. I'm sure you've seen people doing that. Some of you know better than I do, but that is not, at this stage as an adolescent, it's not a time for you to be engaging in these acts, because when you continue to engage in these acts, it is going to land you into this, and then there are going to be consequences. Okay, all right, the feelings will come, all right, but you have to do everything possible to control such feelings or the urge. So fondling of body parts, especially the breast and other parts, the buttocks of the opposite sex, okay, so that could also generate some kind of feelings that will land you into something else, because the moment you start doing these things, you are going to take it a step further, and it's going to be a worry. Yes, and you have to avoid that. Masturbation, trying to touch parts of your body, especially your sex organs, to give you the urge of that sexual feelings. And if you release or ejaculate, okay, or release a sperm out of your reproductive organ, then the ladies too, through that, you become satisfied after engaging in this, then you have actually gone through the activity, and it can destroy your brain, okay, because the brain controls the other part of the body, and the moment you start thinking about these things and then you enter that kind of act, you are going to release a lot of hormones and a lot of reactions in your brain, which actually are to be there for you to focus on your books and concentrate and create retentive memory. But because you have used them, you are using that particular strength, okay, or hormone to engage in this, is going to become a malfunctioned purpose, okay. That means that the purpose will actually not achieve anything beneficial to you. I'm talking about you who falls within this particular stage. So you just have to try to control yourself and then stop it. How then do we do this? Since we have understood the meaning of chastity, so how do we do this? It is not easy, I can be honest with you, but there is something you can still do to control this. So how to live or promote a chaste life, a chaste life. How do we promote a chaste life? Okay, so you as an adolescent have to be assertive. Okay, you know what is right, you know what is good. We have listed some of the items, so you have to sit down and say, I am not going to do this. Okay, and then you have to insist upon that particular decision. Take that decision firmly and say, no, I won't be part, even when my friends are doing it or are pressurizing me to also engage in such an act. So you can stay away. All right, you can stay away from that. So I'll also advise you that don't use avoid, okay, in the sentences when you are answering the questions. So put their English is dynamic. There are so many ways you can put your sentence without using the word avoid. Okay, so you can look at this one. So adolescents should take bodily exercise seriously. The moment you take such exercises seriously, playing games, table tennis, and all those things, they take your mind off such things. Maybe you have watched it in scenes in certain movies, and you feel like doing it. You feel have the edge of doing it. Just try as much as possible. Control yourself. Take a deep breath. You can get out there, get a skipping rope, do the usual exercises. You have a football, play with your friends, do something to just take your mind off. You realize that it's just a pleasure that you almost entered, a 5-minute thing, and then you could have regretted after doing that. And you'll be okay when you take that particular exercise. All right. 3, adolescents should spend more time reading their books. Reading books can also save you from that. You focus on your books, you know there is an assignment, you take a project work, you do something, use your hand, draw, write, read, recite, act. Your poems, your stories are there. Get your friends as characters, read dialogues, all these things. It will take your mind off, and then you become fine after that. Adolescents should not visit adult sites. When talk about adult sites, sometimes some of these adolescents are given the chance to go to these cafes. They go there and they visit sites that are meant for adults, where explicit materials or contents are being shown. So these contents actually, we can just say pornographic materials meant for adults. The people go there below 18 and they start watching. The moment you get those pictures in your mind will just migrate from the normal things that you are supposed to do, the beneficial ones, and then you begin to meditate upon such things, and that will cause you to act. You act upon them. So you just have to stay away. Do not visit. Go to Kate's site. Do your research. Get your content. When you are done, don't click on things that you have no idea about. You get your information, you just log out or turn your data off, and then you are okay. Point number 5, sex education must be made compulsory in schools, home, and even at our worship centers. So sex education, this is very important. It can prevent a lot of irresponsible adolescent behaviors. So our homes, our parents should do that. Then when you come to the schools, teachers, just like what I'm doing over here, I'm trying to make sure I'm telling you the truth that it is not easy to pass through that stage with this lifestyle, but you can still do it. You can still do it. So our religious leaders too, in our mosques, in our churches, should also help us with that particular education. The Sunday school with the scriptures, find a way of teaching the scriptures so that it can actually solve issues like this. We should allow the children to ask questions. You ask questions, and then you get the right explanation. All right. Okay. So point number 6, The teaching of the religious and moral education should be intensified in schools. It should be made intensive. Okay, so that is it. You know about the RME, one of the subjects, elective subjects you study in school, so that is in place. Then we can look at parents should be more concerned about the friends their children make. Yes, sometimes these friends make or unmake you. They make or unmake you. You go for the positive ones. If your parents, they have been there before and they see things ahead of you, so when they know that this particular group of friendship that you have joined yourself to will not help you, they educate you on that, or they try to caution you, and you must be ready to take that advice, heed to such things, and they will help you. Okay, so if that is how to live this life and promote it, then what will be the benefit? If you are able to live this particular life and then grow in it, you'll be able to control yourself, and then you get to a point, what will be the benefits that you enjoy? So we'll look at benefits of living a chaste life. Okay, so uninterrupted education, school dropout is one of the things, the consequences that could be staring at you, because the moment you engage in any of the sexual activities or sexual intercourse, and then pregnancy comes as a young girl, you know what is going to happen. You can't continue with your education. Now with the other sex, the boys, adolescent boys, it is you won't get pregnant, but remember, if you become a premature parent or dad, that thinking alone can affect you. So psychologically, you'll be thinking, at that age, you're already going to have a baby. Okay, people will start teasing you, and you wouldn't like to go to school. Even when you are in school, you can't focus on your books. Okay, and it's going to affect your education. All right, freedom from teenage pregnancy. So that is one aspect that we can cover. Teenage pregnancy. So as a teenager, you need you be able to live a pregnancy-free life during this particular period until you get married. So when you get married, that's a legal time. You can have all these things, do whatever you want to do, and then you get your children, and you get your family. All right. But around this time or during this stage, you have to do everything possible to stay away, so that you will not become a pregnant teenager. Freedom from sexually transmitted infections. Yes, sexual intercourse can actually, because there is exchange of fluids when it goes on, and then these fluids contain whatever infections that might be in the partners involved or the people involved. Okay, so what is going to happen is that you'll be free from such infections if you stay away, because you have not engaged in such an act. Okay, don't be thinking about using condom anyway. You don't know what is going to happen, so just stay. That's why the key word in the chastity is abstinence. Okay, so abstinence is the key word over there. So here, when you're explaining this point, don't forget to list some of the infections, the STIs or the STDs that the common ones that someone may contract as a result of engaging in the sexual intercourse. So we have the gonorrhea, the chlamydia, the genital warts, the deadly HIV or AIDS, hepatitis B, and so on and so forth. So among others, societal respect or dignity. The society will value you. Yes, you have that respect because they know you have lived this kind of life, especially when they get to realize that you are not like your friends who go around engaging in promiscuity. So you have that respect, and they can even tell other people to learn from you, and that will take us to the sixth point: you become a good role model to others. Okay, so let's get to 5. You become the pride of your family. They will trust you. The family will trust you. Your dad, your parents, they will be proud of you. Yes, because they know, as for their child, she or he has been able, or will always be able to comport him or herself even when they are not around. Okay, so these are some of the benefits that an adolescent who lives a chaste life can enjoy. I hope you are following the lesson closely, and then you are making your notes as far as the explanations are concerned. Okay, if that is the case, then what will happen if you don't live a chaste life? So here, effects of not living a chaste life. So the point we have already explained, the benefits. You can just turn them to the opposite, and then you will get these ones. So these ones talk about the effect or the consequences of not living a chaste life. So let's look at point 1. So point 1 is a other side of the first point under the benefits. Okay, you remember that. So the adolescent may experience an interruption in his or her education. Okay, in other words, so you can add this if you are explaining. In other words, he or she may or might become a school dropout. Okay, so that can form your point or your explanation for you. And how the person become a school dropout? Through pregnancy, okay, or when the person finds it difficult to focus on his or her studies. Point 2, the adolescent girl may become a pregnant teenager. This point we can say more and more and more, and I'm sure you already understand or get the concept. He or she may contract any of the sexually transmitted infections. So here too, you have to give those examples over there, the sexually transmitted infections, and mainly because they are transmitted through sexual intercourse. That's why it's called sexually transmitted disease. So such infections may be contracted by the adolescent. The contracted is spelled C-O-N. Okay, I think so. It's here C-O-N-T-R-A-C-T. Then if it is past tense, then you add the ed. Okay. Point number 4. The individual may lose respect or gain, or may lose respect or dignity in the society. May lose respect or dignity in the society. So name callings will start from there, because people have realized that you have joined a group, or you are one of those that when they talk to you, you don't listen, you don't really take advice, and then you go around doing what the community frowns upon. So they will see you engaging in such an act, promiscuity, and they begin to tag you with certain names, and you know how that thing comes with a certain stigma. Okay, comes with a certain stigma. You lose that respect. People will be pointing fingers at you, okay, and always describe you as a bad habit. Okay, all right, so we are moving on. Point 5, the adolescent's family may not be proud of him or her. Yes, adolescent's family, no parent is proud of having a child full of misdemeanor, or a child, or a wayward child, let me put it that way, a wayward child, that the moment they see you, they ask, and they see the way you are behaving, they start asking, who are your parents? And they say, oh, that family, that's it. They will feel so ashamed. And at a point when they get fed up, some families may reject you. Okay? At times when you go and then something happens and then the pregnancy comes, some parents don't want to even stand the embarrassment or the humiliation. So they reject you, tell you to go and stay with the family of the boy. Okay? The boy, the adolescent boy for that matter. So that can lead to rejection. It's an effect on the individual. Okay. So he or she may, we are talking about adolescent who engages in that sexually related activity or sexual intercourse and does not live a chaste life. So he or she may also become a bad influence on others in the society. So instead of becoming a role model, you have become a bad influence. And if you have a lot of people or some friends who kind of like you, you are definitely going to have an influence on them, and that is going to reproduce your kind in the society, in the community. We can't afford to have such people in our community because we need progress. We need progress, and we need people who grow as youths that are positive thinkers. They will take decisions and then they will be able to handle tough situations in future and make this country a better place for us all. So this particular discussion we've had right now will actually end our adolescent reproductive health, and so far we've talked about the meaning of adolescent. We've talked about adolescence too as well. We've also looked at the physical changes, the social changes, the mental, and so on and so forth. We moved on to the behaviors that can actually affect all those changes, and we saw that they are called irresponsible adolescent behaviors. We move further from the irresponsible adolescent behaviors to look at, that's the meaning, to look at the causes and then the effects and possible ways that we can adopt to control them. Then we are looking at chastity today, and we are bringing it to an end. We looked at the meaning of chastity. Then we saw how to live a chaste life. We went further to also look at the benefits and then the consequences if that particular lifestyle is not cultivated. All right. So, my dear students, this is what I have for you in this particular discussion or video. Continue to subscribe. If you have friends there who have not done that, share the video and then like them. Put your comments there. Could be questions or any kind of topic you want me to treat, and I'll be glad to revisit such topics for you, and you understand I'm here because of you. Keep being good students out there, keep revising, and then be safe. I'll see you another time with another interesting lesson. Thanks for watching JCL Tutorials. Bye for now.